Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your Realtor Hugo here with another live. And this one is a real estate related live. Welcome to your daily real estate live. I am Hugo Quintanilla, your licensed realtor in Maryland with Long and Foster. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your usual 15 to 20 minutes a day to learn a little bit more about real estate and how it impacts you and those around you. So if you know anyone that is interested in content such as this, please feel free and share the live. We're on all major platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch.com, Spotify, YouTube Music, and what? I'm missing a few. X, LinkedIn. I think that's about it. We're everywhere. Feel free and look it up. It's the Daily Real Estate Live, and new episodes will be coming soon. As you all know, it is daily. So please come back again tomorrow. Today, we will be looking at unlocking property potential, how new infrastructure boosts real estate values in Gaithersburg and Rockville, and how developments such as rails, roads, and facilities around the county can actually improve property values. So, number one, first time home buying process. Start by understanding your budget and getting your pre-approval for your mortgage. Looking for areas in new infrastructure projects is going to be your main goal. We're going to be looking for new development, basically where we see things coming up into the future. Typically, a master plan is created, and typically you will know about 10 to 20 years in advance how the land will be used. So knowing what those plans are and where those developments for new infrastructure are going to go can be a great way to preemptively invest in an area where you might have a return on investment sooner than you would in another area where there might not be a plan for a new infrastructure. Example, the new transit line in Gaithersburg has made neighborhoods nearby more desirable. And Metro, as an infrastructure, as a service, is a huge boost in property values. So metro accessible properties are ones that are by far more sought after because why? You don't need a car if you have a bus route or a train route on your way to your favorite business. So these are all things that we want to keep in mind. You know, there is a huge development, the Purple Line, if all of you remember. They've been talking about doing that since I was in college, and that was back in 2006. So it is really a long process to get new infrastructure through. So don't be afraid if you hear about a development and you're really excited about it and it turns out that it's going to take about 10 to 15 years to get even ground broken on it because the process takes about that long. Number two, preparing your home for sale. Enhance curb appeal by refreshing landscaping and exterior paint, highlighting your home's proximity to new infrastructure in your listing. And a great example would be homes near the new Rockville Community Center have seen about a 10% increase in value. So where there are these new pieces of infrastructure, use them to highlight the listing and to make sure that it is again not the whole centerpiece of the listing, but a added accessory and an added benefit for the property. Number three, investment property evaluation. Research areas with upcoming infrastructure projects for long term growth. Evaluate potential rental income based on improved accessibility and amenities. New highways, for example, have increased traffic flow, boosting local businesses and rental demand. But again, you also have to take this with a grain of salt because as you increase more traffic, there are undoubtedly going to be more demand, and that again can cause for more infrastructure to be built. So it's kind of one of these games of build it and they will come, but at the same time, when they're there, what is it that needs to be built? Because sometimes the plans are not the most forward thinking in their design and changes have to be made. So we see that all the time as developments are changed and modified as their end result ends up becoming maybe a little bit different than we initially thought. But number Four. Yes. Number four, leasing rental properties offer competitive rates, but highlight the added value of new infrastructure nearby, promote convenience and accessibility to attract qualified tenants. Properties near the new Gaithersburg Metro station have lower vacancy rates. Could be a great example of you maybe commenting on that. But again, it's kind of obvious that where these bigger infrastructure projects are going to be, that these places are more desirable. It's just the nature of the beast, where we have these um, needs and these, demand for supply of properties is obviously where they're going to be the most need for them. Um, Understanding the local Gaithersburg Rockville market. Stay updated on local government plans for new infrastructure projects using local market reports to understand how infrastructure impacts property values. Gaithersburg's market saw a 15% increase after the announcement of a new tech park. So, stuff like that. 15% is nothing to scoff at. And developments happen all the time. Sales have been happening all the time on commercial properties. We're seeing those transfer ownership very quickly and surprisingly quickly these last few years, as we're seeing a turning of the guard when it comes to the commercial real estate sector. Number six, benefit of new infrastructure. Enhanced transportation reduces commute times and makes the area more attractive. Improved amenities like parks and schools increase desirability and property values. Rockville's new schools have made it a hotspot for families, and they're nice. Montgomery County has some of the nicest schools with some of the nicest programs. And yet we are still seeing budget cuts on these school program systems. So it is incredible that even with all the money that the system has, it is still not enough to fund the proper education that some of our children need. And that just shows you how expensive education truly is in America. But hopefully, we can start to bridge that gap more and more into the future, because I know everyone and everyone's child deserves the best education possible, be it public or private. But education is truly one of the easiest ways to change a life. That's all I can really say about that. Number seven, spotting future growth areas. Look for government announcements on future projects, attend town hall meetings to stay informed about upcoming developments, and early investors in Gaithersburg urban developmental areas have seen a huge return on their investment. So if you're early into a project, if you get into these groups and network with the right people, you might be part of something amazing. And it is life changing. I remember when King Farm was developed in the development for King Farm, how many people were involved in that, and how grand that whole construction was, how big it was, from what it used to be, which was basically just a cornfield at one point. But it's amazing to develop projects like that and see them come from plans to actual materialization. Number eight, maximizing home values before sale. Invest in upgrades that align with new infrastructure improvements, adding energy efficient windows, for example, in an area where new green initiatives are popular. Number nine, navigating real estate trends. Monitor real estate trends influenced by new infrastructure. For example, the increase in hybrid work models has shifted demand to suburban areas like Rockville. And lastly, for tonight, it's going to be number 10, community impact on infrastructure. Understand how new infrastructure can improve the local quality of life. New parks and recreational facilities in Gaithersburg have boosted community engagement and property values. So, all these things that we see, infrastructure, be it for school, for public transportation, it is all benefiting the public. But we have to remember where most of this money comes from. It comes from taxes, it comes from fees and service charges, it comes from a lot of different areas revenued by the government. So, make sure that we are reminded that a lot of our hard-earned dollars go back into maintaining the cities that we know and love. So it's one of those things where you can't really blame the government, because it does cost a lot to maintain a city, and at times it might be a little bit frustrating, to have local government do something opposed to your wishes. But this is why we implore everyone to go out there and exercise their vote, because if you put in representatives that share your beliefs and are working towards your best interests, your decisions and best interests will be looked after. So again, it's all a learning process, and as new developments and new politicians come in and out of office and in and out of development, we're going to see things change. So you got to learn, you got to jump into the game, you got to start moving around the pieces and then seeing how they impact you. But new infrastructure is a great thing. We don't shy away from it. If you're just joining us tonight, we're talking about unlocking property potential, how new infrastructure boosts real estate values in Gaithersburg and Rockville, and what that really means to property owners. And just to recap, number one was first time home buying process. It can impact that. Number two is preparing your home for sale. It could actually really help boost the value of your property. Number three, investment property evaluation. The rental prices in your property could go up as well for good infrastructure. Number four, leasing rental properties. All rental property demand will change too if infrastructure is really desirable in a certain area. Number five, understanding the local Gaithersburg Rockville market. We have local developments here in our own area, such as like the Purple Line and new tech park, as well as other developments within Montgomery County that are all bringing more eyes and ears to the area. Number six, benefits of new infrastructure, how they actually help by reducing commute times and bringing better services to the people. Number seven, spotting future growth areas, knowing where the projects are going to be by either staying on top of it locally or with your networking groups. Number eight, maximizing home values before sale, using the initiatives and making them work in your favor. If green initiatives are popular in your area, having the green improvements in your home would be a great way to go. Number nine, navigate real estate trends. Stay on top of the trends because the trends will impact the infrastructure. And as we see, for example, pickleball became a huge movement in the last year, and we've seen dozens of pickleball courts sprout up all over the area. And these are just, again, a sign of how infrastructure can change because of popular demand. And number 10, communicate community impact on infrastructure, how community buildings such as these different niches around the internet can impact the infrastructure and what people desire as infrastructure. For example, we've seen a huge rise in bike lanes going into the area. So these are all things that were wanted by the public. And when put up to vote, that's what they voted for. So we will see how all these changes work and what this new infrastructure means to Montgomery County, because it's all for the higher good, I believe. Again, there are always things that, intended purpose and eventual use, but, what can you do? You can't please everyone all of the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am Hugo Quintanilla, a licensed realtor in Maryland with Long and Foster. Feel free and reach out if you have any questions about buying, selling, leasing, or investing in real estate. I can help you do all four. My phone number, 240-389-4846. My email is hugo@lnf.com, and my website is yourrealtorhugo.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow for a couple more lives. And have a great night. Go get some rest. Go hug a loved one and take care. I'll see you all tomorrow.